Oh, hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing very well. We have a very special guest in the house today, of course, Jacob EISENBERG of Dapper Labs, NBA Top Shot. We are happy to have him. Kind of feels like a throwback to the office hours type of thing. It's been a while since we were all sweating in Brazil listening to office hours, or no, that was just me. Okay, anyways, we are brought to you, of course, today by Floaty, Floaty.io. It's where you go. You want to buy, you want to sell NBA Top Shot, other Flow products on the Floaty marketplace. You head over to floaty.io. We're going to have a giveaway today, thanks to the lovely folks over there at floaty.io. And I see a bunch of you are in the chat. You're all very excited. You're all very passionate. Jacob is a special guest, but I'm just going to ask you all, keep it respectful. Don't get overly passionate or unruly. I've given Maud some power today. So if anyone is being a little too unruly or passionate, let's say, you might have a little timeout. But otherwise, let's have a good time. Let's ask some good questions, and let's bring on Jacob. So I'm going to bring him on with little King of the Castle, and here he is.
King in the castle, king in the castle.
Okay.
What's going on, Tandy? Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, I'm glad you can make it. It's always a exciting show when Jacob's on. People are always hanging on to Jacob's every word, just trying to get as much as they can out of what you have to say, trying to get that alpha. But I know there's a lot to talk about. It's a lot of action right now in the NBA, some incredible action on the NBA. I'm sure you have some opinions there. Your Knicks, of course. I can't imagine you would feel badly about what happened with the Knicks, and we can talk about that as well. I felt like I said that last week, that the Knicks fans are kind of in like the perfect situation. There's like no letdown, really. It's kind of only upside.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's no letdown. Obviously, it was a very fun season, but to see how close and open we were, if things broke a little better for us, it's disappointing, right? These windows are fairly tight. As soon as expectations get applied to your team, the joy certainly becomes less present. I think our locker room is really tight. I think our organization is well run. I think Tibbs is obviously a very good kind of disciplinarian for the guys, and they seem to embrace his identity. So I am optimistic for the future, but certainly tough to kind of not even make the conference finals with a team that I feel, if we were even 75% healthy, clearly could have, not only gotten there, but also pushed the Celtics. So definitely a fun season, but yep, moving on to what I anticipate will be an exciting summer for the Knicks.
Sure. But that's what I mean. I mean, the fact that you had major injuries kind of it tempered your expectations. So like anything that they could do is sort of awesome, and you felt good about it, and you definitely felt let down that they couldn't be healthy, but it's kind of like the luck of the draw. You just sort of got dealt a hand of Randall getting hurt and your team sort of falling apart, or some players just kind of falling apart there at the end. Do you think part of that, by the way, was because Thibodeau plays his guys so many minutes, or do you think that they got to where they were because Thibodeau plays his guys the way he plays them?
Certainly both. I mean, I think if you went one by one, Randall's injury, freak injury, got landed on, wouldn't apply that to Tibbs at all. OG, I think, historically has been injury prone. And while it is true he had several months off on the knees and the hamstring, I think just getting ramped up and playing 45 plus every night definitely led to a little bit of his injury issues. Brunson, I think, certainly overworked for a long time there. And, he was, if not his hand, his foot would have given out at some point. Josh Hart, I think, also overused probably. But at the end of the day, those guys didn't want to sit out. And I don't think we would have made it to Game 7 if we did let them sit out. So I'm pretty excited about the future with them. And I don't think that Tibbs is, I think the narrative is pretty unfair. But yeah, excited to see where we take it.
Yeah. Well, who do you hope wins now these two series? And we got the Celtics and the Pacers. We got the Mavs and the Timberwolves. That was kind of a close. That was a very close game with the Mavs and the Timberwolves. It was kind of a little bit of a questionable call with Karl Anthony Towns late in the game. But who's your dog right now in the race?
I want the Timberwolves to win it all. I think they're the most fun team to root for. Um, and I think the popular wisdom is we're probably somewhere between the Western Conference teams winning it all. I think your Celtics, obviously. I saw a great tweet the other day that they have serious Hillary Clinton vibes,
Oh
and
no.
I just kind of understood that one intimately and thought it was a great call. So yeah,
God, don't say that.
I think it's probably going to be one of the Western Conference teams, but if I were kind of a betting man, I'd put it on the Wolves even down 0-1. I think they'll figure things out. But obviously that coverage on Luka certainly was not going to get it done for the rest of the series.
Got it. Cool. Well, I see the hard hitting questions are already coming in, but we can start talking about. We'll include some of that Boston base, and thank you for the sticker. We'll give you an early ice cream so good. Let's see, where is it? And don't worry, Jacob, I'll do it. Thank you, Boston base. Ice cream so good. Yes, yes, yes. Strong woman. And Boston base asked some questions here about locking and minting um and IRL benefits and communication and marketing. So I'm guessing we'll be able to touch on all of these things. I'm sure that's what people want to hear about. So why don't we just start right, go for it. And we'll talk about the thing that some people are talking about on Twitter and such about the minting. What can you tell us about the minting of the rare moments and sort of the feedback that you got, and specifically like the round one rare moments that ended up being higher than what you all anticipated?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately what we put in a blog, we need to be much, much tighter and stricter about internally to not break those rules. And that's a massive mess up on our part. So sincere apologies to the community, because the full intention going into the year was that rares were going to be capped at that 699 mint count. And, we could kind of excuse ourselves or word salad away from, oh, well, maybe the intention was regular season, or maybe we fully anticipated the redemptions to be none to be redeemed past 699. At the end of the day, it happened, and that's on us, and there's no excuse for it. So I do think we had two instances this year where we went back on our word from what was put in a blog. The first instance was pretty public and loud in January around the criteria for how burn leaderboards would work with freshman gems, and then later on with rookie revelation. That change, I think, was the right change for the market, for the economy long term. It ultimately added more demand and a deeper collectability for the best rookies in the class. But still, changing what was put in a blog is a very aggressive move, and probably not, A, never should have happened, but B, whether the right outcome comes out of it or not, the damage is done by making that change in the first place. With this one, no excuse, right? I think poor planning, poor kind of communication all across the board. And I think the intentions were right, with kind of not wanting any of the rare moments to be so scarce that they had sub 99 mint counts and encroached on the legendary finals moments later on, right? But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it was a mistake, shouldn't have happened, and sincere apologies to the group.
Got it. What can we talk about locking it? I mean, I know there's something on the mailbag about leaderboards. I think that's part of this question about locking appreciation. I mean, have you guys looked over how locking has gone over the series and just saw basically ways to improve upon it or things that you like and don't like?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly I liked that we did weekly airdrops based on leaderboards, right? For players, for teams, the steady stream of rewarding collectors, obviously something that I think we can all get behind. As far as who those rewards were hitting, very what's imprecise, I guess would be the best way to put it, right? Very much not necessarily hitting top fans of those players, top fans of those teams. I think there's a lot of reasons for that we can either get into or we can kind of just acknowledge as a group, like imperfections of Top Shot score and where it weighs. But I think overall, the biggest mistake was probably with the team leaderboard at the end of the season and going too narrow with who can get rewarded there and not leaning into that really being a reward for the fans of that team. And I think there were valid reasons for it, right? I think primarily when you look at it, Tandy, you're a Celtics fan. Do you know where on the Celtics leaderboard you are?
Very low because I don't lock much.
So let's hypothetically say you're at number 1,000 on the board, right?
Mhm.
Among people that identify the Celtics as their favorite team, maybe you're in the top 300, right? Again, leaning into the hypotheticals. But there's no way for you to see that. And the lack of being able to see that is an issue in terms of doing airdrops and rewards based on favorite team today, right? So
Mm.
these are all things that we need to look at holistically as we work to improve leaderboards long term to better kind of reward top fans of certain teams, but also to make sure that the pride, the excitement of shooting up your favorite team's leaderboard can be felt in a way where, again, you don't have all the kind of side effects of maybe have Top Shot scores calculated that kind of impede that progress.
Sure. That makes sense. And then on the same note of benefits of being up on those boards, so the last thing on this sticker from Boston Base was talking about IRL benefits and how he feels that there's a lack of IRL benefits. Are you hearing that amongst the community, or have you been thinking about where IRL benefits sort of rank and where you guys are focusing going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I definitely want to lean into is getting that money can't buy experience for our fans. And whether that's like physical IRL or whether that is virtual experiences that we can help connect fans with their favorite players or players around the league. I think that's something we are going to look at pretty aggressively because it just makes sense, right? It's something that we can connect our international community with these players in a unique way. And there, I think everyone in the chat can agree there is a huge assortment of ways we can reward, be it via leaderboards, be it via fast break now, be it via packs and winning kind of golden tickets in those packs, whatever it may be, right? All of those things are on the table to potentially deliver more kind of lack of better word, money can't buy fan experiences.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think when I saw the kind of things that Top Shot was doing in that regard, that's what they felt like when you were, having lunch with Magic Johnson or cooking with Kate or all those type of things. They did feel like experiences that would be very difficult, even if you had the money to procure. And I think that's part of what makes Top Shot special is to be able to give those kind of experiences that like would be very, very difficult to figure out on your own. Um, but also, I imagine that there's probably a balance between the logistics of how much that costs as well, and then like, like is it worth sort of putting all that effort and all that funds into something like that, and what's like the return? So you're sort of somewhere in the middle there. You got to figure out the balance, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I think early in the season, I jumped on the show and we had a great conversation about just like priorities and what are the most important things. And I think a big focus this season was kind of taking all of our different capital F features and trying to wrap it into a campaign more naturally. So obviously the burn boards before the drop, the RSVP itself, the locking challenges after the board. I think we introduced some things later in the season, like the burn leaderboards for quick rips, which kind of targeted a more accessible type of moment class, right? All of those things were great progress, and all the most important thing is the economy. I think making sure that our community can feel the impact of kind of all these designs, and I think I'll speak for the team. We did a lot this year. I think we made a lot of progress this year, but we're not satisfied with that progress. And I think we also see opportunities to get more and more efficient with kind of our approach going into next season. So, all in all, it was a win. But if this season's mantra was like, how do we just kind of redefine what a week in Top Shot looks like? And I think the weekly cadence has helped there, of course. Next season is going to be much more aggressive toward how can we make this not only appealing for our kind of deeply engaged cohort that's here already and has stuck around through thick and thin, but how can we make it fun for NBA fans, both those that have left Top Shot, but also those that we've never acquired. And I think things like future fandom experiences, be it relating to players, working with teams, creating custom offerings like team packs that we rolled out this season, and kind of meeting fans where they are, those are going to be really important kind of tenets for next season.
That's interesting. I mean, of course, I'd love to dive deeper, but I imagine you can't share too much about it. But just because I think that you guys did do a really good job in that regard, in sort of the predictability, and you sort of knew what was happening every week. You kind of there was no guesswork like in the past when it felt a little more random and you didn't really know what was happening and when it was going to happen. And even though that was kind of part of the fun of NFTs back in the day, but I think people got tired of that. And I think the predictability and sort of the professionalism of knowing when things were coming and how things were going to work before and after was really nice. So I am really curious how that's going to continue to evolve, especially with this aspect that you're talking about, which is going to be kind of off platform. Obviously, I think off platform, when you're trying to deal with people who are not necessarily refreshing your homepage every day, that's definitely more challenging. So I'm really curious what kind of rabbits you have in your hat, and I want to see what you guys are able to come up with, because I think part of the question too is like, if you had to, in like a perfect world, and this doesn't necessarily mean that this is what you're doing, but how would you like to see NBA Top Shot influence like the broader NBA Twitter and vice versa? Like, how do you want? Does that make sense? Like, how do you see in a perfect world or an ideal scenario, like how are the two cultures like commingling?
Cultures being NBA fans and Top Shot itself.
Yeah, because like the Top Shot fans and the Top Shot culture, I feel like is in its own little bubble, really.
Right.
The NBA bubble though is massive, and then like the NBA culture, this NBA Twitter, like that's a massive, massive, group of people. If you can even get a fraction of those people interested in NBA Top Shot, so the question is like, how do you sort of cross pollinate?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And I think, as I was mentioning, that is a big priority for next season. And I think there are a lot of things that we're excited about that we're working on behind the scenes. Unfortunately, Tandy, don't think today is the right time to unveil any of that alpha. But I will say, like, one thing that was super illuminating, and perhaps the most successful capital C campaign we've done, was LeBron's record breaker last season, right? Where
Right.
that night
Right.
we were ready. We had the moment ready to go. We had the pack drop ready to go. And that did kind of reach outside of the Top Shot echo chamber, right? NBA fans
Okay.
all wanted to celebrate LeBron James that night, and there was a compelling, fun offering for him. So how can we kind of take that lens and apply it into a typical Tuesday night where Anthony Edwards does something crazy on the court, right? Like that's kind of the spirit of where I think we need to head, and also get, again, way closer with not just the players and delivering that experience for fans, but also the league itself, the teams, figuring out ways that we can kind of integrate very organically and naturally into the places they are and where they reach their fans.
Right, because actually that reminds me, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but in there's something happened in baseball recently where some girl was sitting in the stands, and I think Dante Bichette fouled off a ball that went like 100 miles per hour, hit her right in the forehead. She had this huge welt on her forehead, and then Topps ended up creating a like a mint to demand, or I don't know what it was, but they ended up making a moment, or not a moment, but a physical card of it. So my question there is like, how can you, is it possible with the relationship with the league that you can sort of turn around very quickly on your average Tuesday night where Anthony Edwards posterizes someone? Is it possible that you would have like the right people to pick up the phone and like that night be able to say like, yes, you can go ahead, and you guys have already done the legwork ahead of time, so you can just say like, okay, that's it, and now we're going to go live with it?
Definitely possible. I mean, that's a lot of what we need to work toward. And obviously, I think your audience will appreciate this greatly. Like, it's a little different than, say, a Topps Now or Panini Instant, and just all the layers to that. What does that mean? Does that go into a legendary tier? Does that become a fan? Like, all of that stuff needs to get figured out. And ideally, we're doing it in a way that is inclusive of the community, because it is a great growth driver. But the best way to kind of sustain growth is you're doing something that the existing community is also excited about that night, and it feels kind of holistically considered, rather than, oh, this could be a great way to kind of get someone to buy a $2 moment, So those are kind of the things we're thinking through, but certainly possible, and certainly an exciting kind of avenue for us to explore.
Yeah, because I really think that is where the two areas meet, where people are tweeting the same dunk 1,000 times on Twitter, and then you can actually be in the replies and be like, hey, look, you can actually own this thing if you want it. I think that, to me, makes a lot of sense. All right, I'm trying to look over some of these comments. I know one actually that I wanted to ask you was here. So this is about the circulation or distribution of moments, and I think a big one is, for example, when we think about Wemby or Chet, and we're thinking about what's that going to look like next season. Because like Ryan was saying, he wasn't loving the fact that Paolo Banchero's mint went up by 3x in the next series. How are we considering, because Wemby is like the golden goose, really. So like, how do you handle the golden goose? How do you handle Wemby in the next series when, how do I guess that's the question. How do you handle him? How do you make sure that stays not over minted so that his earlier stuff stays very desirable, etc.?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say don't have a great answer for today on it. It will be something that we explore as we plan out for next season. I do ultimately think, like, at the end of the day, a rookie moment from a rookie of the year is different completely from a sophomore year moment. So I assume the pretense of the question is just the utility in fast break. And as these players get commons that aren't, in Paolo's case, slightly different, but in Wemby's case, north of $300, what does that do for the rookie debut if it doesn't have extra utility? And I think it's a fair question, but I think the rookie moments and the reasons why we treat rookies on Top Shot so intentionally and so kind of extremely when it comes to the scarcity of them is because those are the highly collectible ones for years to come, at least in the way I would look at it and explain it to a novice coming to Top Shot, right? Like the mint count of Wemby's rookies or Paolo's rookies compared to any other analog, be it trading cards or wherever, like it's infinitely scarcer on Top Shot. And I think that's going to be super powerful long term, but trying to kind of apply those same rules to their sophomore years, I do think there's merit to trying to figure out how do we kind of reward Wemby rookie collectors with their sophomore year moments. But I don't think it's necessarily the healthiest thing to try to like overly constrain what the people want. And if the people want Wemby, like we should kind of give the people Wemby at that point, right? Rookie year, again, I think we were pretty deliberate with being scarcer to the demand.
Okay. So people are asking about the Bermuda blog. It's a long one. I have not chewed through it. I haven't had time, honestly, but he wrote a very long blog. I even tried throwing it into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT was like, "This is too long, bro." And I was like, "Oh man." So, so yeah, did you read it? Maybe you can tell me about it. What did you like about it, or do you have any commentary there?
Yeah, so it was actually 2 blogs. Read them both, and I've actually spoken to Bermuda since, and great guy. Like really enjoying the conversation, and think he has a very nuanced and deep appreciation for the product and the complexities of the product. So that passion reigns through in the article itself, but also in our discussions. I would say there were goals that he laid out in the second blog of the things that Team Hold, great comment. There are things he put out in the second blog of like, if we were designing Top Shot from the ground up, what would be the things to optimize for? And those rang extremely, extremely strong for me. Like it resonated well. And then he had a section about how to make Top Shot more social. Agreed very much with that. In terms of the tactical of exactly how he laid out the plan of how he would do Top Shot, I don't know if I agreed with the approach completely, just given kind of some of the data we have about what are the better tools for acquisition, what we saw on NFL All Day with dynamics and kind of that one shot to drop a player and not really being able to kind of continue that beat on later, right? I think it was a very academic and intelligent kind of perspective. And I think there's certainly a lot from there that we're going to look to apply. But I would say the biggest critique, which I've told him, and I think it's constructive, is it's very much through the lens of someone that really understands Top Shot and NFTs intimately from the perspective of, burning and locking and crafting and leaderboard, right? All that stuff. Yes. I think if the goal was 100% to just kind of fully focus on, hey, this is the only audience we'll ever have, let's make sure we make the best product for them. Yes, I think that makes more sense. In a world where we do have ambitions to grow and get outside the echo chamber and make Top Shot super relevant to NBA fans around the world, I think there's a lot of work to be done that wasn't fully captured there.
Okay. Well, Bramira, if you're listening, and other people who are also reading the blog, there's your answer on that one. What can you tell us about the one-of-one Chet? The first round of bidding has completed. Is there anything you can share with us?
No new information for you. I think we're gonna get close to kind of final number shortly, and excited to share it. But yeah, definitely excited to kind of get that one out, and we'll soon follow up with the details of the remaining one-of-ones that we have for the rookies this season. And I think the community will be excited to kind of learn about that. And I think as far as rolling out one-of-ones went, a lot of great learnings for us to kind of take into account and apply for the future.
Yeah, and I got to say, the fact that people are spending upper six figures on a Wemby is definitely a nice signal that people still want to buy NFTs and still value them quite a lot. So that was pretty cool, and it's pretty cool to see like the other news outlets or the online news outlets covering it as well. That was really fun to see. So NF Tweaker has a question. With the ambitions to grow in mind, when will Top Shot go or move away from Discord as being a main source of information?
Yeah, I think to those that did read the Bramira blog, I think social was a big part of one of his sections that I really agreed with. And I think bringing more of our updates and main source of information to be the product itself and what that looks like, I think we can kind of ideate and continue to improve. But that's the goal, right? And that's not to say we're moving away from posting announcements on Discord or Twitter. I think that's helpful to kind of continue to foster the community. But as far as there should never be a need to be kind of religiously refreshing Twitter or Discord to feel like you're in the loop on what's going on Top Shot. And I think email's been obviously a channel we use pretty aggressively. I think you all receive emails from us and see that. But ideally, the more info we can bring into product, the better off we're all going to be.
Sure. All right. Well, we're going to come right back to Jacob. We're just going to run a quick little floaty video, and then we'll be right back with Jacob. Let's run it. I wanted to spend a minute or two reviewing our floaty videos that we've enjoyed playing during Tandy Time. We covered the following topics: buying on Floaty, selling on Floaty, bulk listing, loans, rentals, account linking, finding sellers of specific moments, bookmarking special serials, making offers, and more. There are links in the show notes to the segments for each one of these topics. Hopefully these discussions and reviews have helped show what makes Floaty special and why over 95% of Top Shot volume that takes place off of Dapper's marketplace is on Floaty. If you ever have any questions or need any help, the Floaty Discord is the place to go. So in closing, list on Floaty for lower fees and bulk listing capabilities, buy on Floaty for great prices and better filter options, rent on Floaty for fast break and other future challenges, and lend on Floaty for passive income. Now back to the show. All right. Thank you, Randy. And I will, by the way, if you're watching this, I didn't have time to put those links yet because I got to go through all the videos, but they will be there in the near future. Okay. Let's keep on going here. So, Jacob, what else can you talk about in terms of looking at the series I mean, we're not quite at the end of the series, but we're just about there. Just things that you felt, I don't know, you want to go the positive or the negative, anything that you haven't touched on yet that you feel like you really liked, or things that you could have or would have liked to see different?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest success of the season was, again, kind of identifying how can we introduce new supply while kind of ensuring every week there are events that help the collectors, with grail moments, add collectability around that. So burn leaderboards week to week, locking challenges, um, those complementing every single drop. I think we saw major success. In our mailbag, we shared recent stats about kind of grail moments and identifying it in basketball terminology. So players with 3+ MVPs between regular season and finals. That list is a very narrow list of like the LeBrons, the Stephs, the Giannis's, the Jokic's, the Magics, the Birds, the KDs, right? Like it's just a grail of grails of the best players, right? Those moments, their legendaries, their rares, their top shot debuts have seen increase in demand in terms of highest offer market cap throughout the season. Lowest ask has also stayed either plateaued for some of them and increased for others. So all of that has been successful, right? And I think season over season, continuing to identify new ways to kind of add desirability, collectability around the best stuff, make that clearer for our customers of what they should, making it easier, not necessarily what they should be collecting, but better understanding kind of the nuances of, well, this LeBron James moment's a rare, this one's a Top Shot debut rare. Which one should I want, right? Like those are fundamental collector questions. And then I think rookies has been a very fun season, right? Like the trading in your commons for your rares, trading in your rares for your legendaries, creating competition, creating kind of reward structures that both benefit collectors of the top rookies, but also allow collectors to compete and speculate over which rookies are going to win awards, right? I think first few months of the season, Chet Holmgren was going to be the rookie of the year, and then Wemby really came on strong, and we kind of saw that action happen in the marketplace itself. So all in all, very kind of exciting developments on that front. But as I said earlier on the call, there's a lot that we did this season that I think was good. And I think there's a lot that we still need to improve. We're not satisfied with the progress made. I think the weekly cadence, we figured out something there. I think team packs, we figured out something there. But we're still so far from where we both want to be, but need to be as well.
Yeah. What about thoughts about the gamification side? I mean, I know you touched on it a little bit around sort of the two different strategies of collecting, or people are collecting to play the game, and then people are collecting, treating it as more of a collectible. What are your thoughts on that on Fast Break? Because I think I can understand both sides to this argument. Like I think it's so slick. I think it's so much fun to play. And I love that it's continually improving, and that now we're getting private leagues and things of that nature. I'm curious what your take on it is and how you sort of balance those two sides of how people might see the game.
Yeah, I'd almost say it's three sides, right? Like there's the utility of your collectibles, aka game pieces in this case. Then there's the layer of simplicity, and how do you make this game fun and attractive for someone that doesn't understand Top Shot today. And then there's the weighing of, well, do we just play most or least viable game piece? So my LeBron common that's out of 47K is actually the same utility as his Top Shot debut. That doesn't make any sense. They should change that, right? I think all of those are fair points. Over time, my hope and expectation is through the creation of leagues, we can create different types of lobbies where there's a lobby with very selective criteria, and you need to use rares, legendary, whatever it may be, cosmics, who knows? And the prizing there is even better. And that doesn't take away from the fact that an NBA fan can come off the street and play this game that I think is fairly unique and special to Top Shot, right? Because it's essentially combining layers of fantasy with resource management in a way that there really isn't a ton of elsewhere. And the better your collection, obviously, the better your chances of winning. But it's also important to not make that necessarily the only game in town, the only way to play, because at the end of the day, we have a huge cohort of our collector base that are collectors first and gamers second, and the opportunity for them to be able to not have to overcomplicate how they prioritize collecting, because this game is giving out outsized rewards, and the EV of collecting the floor of a certain player is just so obvious, right? I think the idea is, if they can work in synergy together, how that would look is the game is super fun. It helps bring people back to Top Shot daily. It helps attract new collectors and new players to Top Shot. And at the same time, you can create leagues with your friends. We can create lobbies with better prizing for higher tier moments. And all of that theoretically should be able to kind of play out where it is not, I think, the pejorative of Dapper Bingo, and all of a sudden, like, the player that made the last 3-pointer in the Miami Heat game is going to pump 100x, right? That's not the point of this game at all.
Yeah, I hear that. So first of all, thank you, Josh. You may have sent a sticker that I can't see, but ice cream so good, Josh. Thank you, Josh. Strong woman. I hear what you're saying, and that's actually pretty exciting to think about, that those things can work together, and you can have some maybe more restrictive lobbies, and then those people that want to play in that have to like up their collection, but still there's still plenty to win and plenty fun to have on like the most basic version of the game.
We'll
I think
also
that would
take it a step further, right?
Yeah.
We can it's going to be on chain, and third parties, Floaty maybe, can build their own games, their own lobbies, and you, Tandy, can compete against your friends and put up your moments against their moments, right? Like, whoever scores more points tonight, right? That's the blue sky, of course, and I don't think we want to overcomplicate it today, but there is a world where, hey, you need to submit someone that you think is going to score 30 plus tonight, and your friend needs to submit someone that they think is going to score 30 plus, and if one of you hits and the other doesn't, then you get both their moments, right? Like, those are all on the table long term. And that's what's really cool, because it's uniquely kind of a Web3 game at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is cool. Let's see. Collectin' Connectin's in the chat. Parentheses, NBA Top Shot community. What are your thoughts on the team communities? So I'm guessing they're talking about themselves in this case. And incorporating into NBA Top Shot's future plans.
Yeah, had a great conversation yesterday with about a dozen captains, and just kind of caught up with them. It had been overdue. I think there's a lot we can do there. Obviously, we experimented with a new kind of structure this season, with kind of percentage of marketplace sales from that team going back to those team communities. And there were good, interesting learnings. I think it's and this won't be a surprise to the captains because we talked about it. There are a lot of things we want to do better there next season, right? So even if the budget doesn't change drastically, I think there are ways to kind of optimize so that more of our community members can get the benefits of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that sounds good. I'm sure that the Spurs team captains are incredibly happy with what happened this past series. But let's keep on going here. Any other good questions here? What about the WNBA? Someone's asking about the WNBA. Is there anything interesting coming up for the WNBA? I see that the WNBA has fast break.
Yeah, let's stay tuned for something coming today, maybe in the next hour or so. Who knows?
All right, there you go. So there's your juice. Something's coming today.
Alpha every
So you mentioned something about like Dapper Bingo. I think this kind of relates. Well, it doesn't have to relate to it, but Stan was asking about challenges in crafting. Challenges in the past did have an aspect of Dapper Bingo because of what you said. But they don't necessarily always have to have that aspect. I mean, that's just when the requirements are a little bit random.
In this case, I think Stan's talking about flash challenges, presumably, right? Because the set challenges are you tell me if I'm wrong, Stan. But to answer that question, we did try flash burn leaderboards this season. I think that was a success. Generally speaking, leaderboards are better for a few reasons. I think primarily it's not us saying you need to do X to get Y. It's, hey, this is Y. You tell us what you're going to need to put in to get it, right? And then it creates a little bit more of a competition amongst the collectors. If we say the top 100 are going to get this prize, it could lead to, be it more burning or more premium moments getting burnt, whatever it is, right? So I think we want to bring that back and do it more often. I think the burn leaderboards we were doing with quick rips in recent months, that idea was born directly out of conversations with our team captains. And I think they're doing a great job kind of speaking for the community on those fronts. As far as crafting goes, I think there are interesting things we can do there still. Similar kind of premise of, I'd rather us say prize is Y. You tell us how many need to get burned via X to get Y, rather than us kind of ascribing that recipe ourselves. But all fair game for the future, I would say. Again, I think a lot of the priority here is, how do we get the existing community excited about things we're doing, campaigns we're doing weekly, in a way where we can be timely and relevant to an NBA fan coming via Twitter, coming via NBA app, wherever it may be down the road, because we are capitalizing on the zeitgeist of that night in a way that we haven't done very often, though there are a few examples of success.
Cool. There's a question here that I actually think is kind of interesting. So we know that Dapper Labs has this partnership with Ticketmaster. So Top Shot Blazers is asking, any more push on the Ticketmaster Dapper Labs partnership? I wanted to add on to that though, which is, so first of all, I think I've seen that like concert tickets, you're getting virtual memories or collectibles of your concert tickets. Is this possible to do for NBA tickets? Is this something that you guys are thinking about or working on? And then to add to that, is there any way to like put that collectible on the Top Shot website so that people would go access their ticket or their collectible from that night on the Top Shot website, so it sort of integrates them a bit more?
Yeah, a few really good questions there. Without getting into the tactics of how a partnership would come to life, I would just kind of acknowledge and say yes, there's definite interest. And as far as like targeting highly qualified fans of a team, not only fans, but fans that are willing to spend money, there are very few places that are better avenues for us to look. So no alpha to share here, but something we are thinking about.
Got it. Okay. Well, hopefully that happens, 'cause I think that would be really cool. Let's see if I'm missing anything here. Oh, Ryan had a question earlier that I kept here, which is, are we going to see any updates to how users can showcase their moments, both on their profile and in the physical world, besides infinite objects?
Yeah, I think when we look at probably under the hood a bit here, just to kind of peel back the onion, when we talk about our kind of product team, our engineers, we have obviously the web product and we have the mobile product, right? And the app. And how do we kind of really lean into things that are uniquely social and exciting for the app itself? So as when it comes to collection organization, collection kind of flaunting, whatever it may be, I think those are things that we're really keen on. Obviously, I've been oft requested for a long time here. And how can we really lean in on mobile there? So it's something you are proud to show off to your friends and highly screenshotable to upload to socials and kind of help get Top Shot out of the Discord echo chamber and bring it to other places that look really cool. And it needs to look awesome, right? Like at the end of the day, our creative team, our design team, best in class, I think. Say what you want about other parts of Top Shot for anyone that's been critical. The design has always been world-class, and how can we kind of continue to lean into that aesthetic, that design, and give you a ton of reasons to feel proud of your collection, not just on social, but also as you're browsing, right? Because the best behavior possible is you come to Top Shot just because you enjoy looking at your collection and you like organizing your collection and you like getting excited about your collection, right? So those are things that are 100% on the radar and important to us, because until we fully deliver there, we can't be the best collectible that we know we can be.
Sure. It kind of gives me memories of when I used to collect the Michael Jordan holograph upper deck card, and I would just like looking at it and turning it in the light and seeing the 3D Michael Jordan show up in different ways. So somehow if you can do that on digital, that would be pretty cool. If you can just turn your phone around and the light looks like it's hitting it in different ways. send that message to the developers. I know you got to go in a minute, Jacob, but before I let you go, we have to give Stan Loves his fist bump. That's sort of a rule of the show. So let's watch that again.
So I appreciate it. Yeah, man, that was awkward fist bump. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. Just gonna clip that. It's gonna go viral. Jesus Christ. No, I appreciate it. It was weird.
Tandy, that video doesn't get old, but I will say my challenge for you is let's find a new soundtrack. What can we replace My Heart Will Go On to? Because the soundtrack's the only thing. Like I want a little pizzazz. It doesn't get old. The video, the clip itself is great, but let's see what you can come up with. That's my challenge to you.
You don't like the bad it's called the shitty recorder. You don't like
No, it's not that I don't like it. I just think it's we refreshed our collectibles last year. There's a new animation when you open your pack. Like that we're turning the challenge back to you. Let's find a new soundtrack for it. And we can always go back, right? If we determine we like it, we can always go back. But that's my challenge to you.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. I mean, I would definitely ask if maybe one of your world-class developers, designers can like help me really put the pizzazz on it. That would be really great. But I'll see what I can do. Stan Loves approves.
Awesome.
So
Stan's into it, and he's the one that brought it to the table today. So we appreciate it.
All right. Well, Jacob, I don't know if you have anything else you want to share, but I think are you at time or just about? Or you have any more?
Yeah, I might have one more question in me, if anyone has, but that's famous last words. I just got a compliment from Jay, and those are hard to come by for me. So I might be better just coming ahead, getting out ahead here.
Leaving on a high note. Okay. Well, if anyone has any other questions, let's see if I can see. I'm scrolling up here. How about this one? Any chance of integrating with NBA ID and NBA app become one of the pillars of the NBA ecosystem?
Man, you're really trying to get some alpha here at the last minute. I'll say yes, there's a chance it's something we're very excited about as a possibility, and something that I think just makes a lot of sense for a lot of different stakeholders involved. But we'll see how it comes to life, and it could be a very exciting thing for us to kind of share with you all one day.
Okay, so that mystery thing that's possibly happening next series.
No comment.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's it, Jacob. I'll let you go. And in chat, we got to give away a couple moments, so we're gonna let Jacob go, and then we'll give away some moments. We'll play him out with a little community. So, Jacob, thanks for making the time, and I'm sure everyone here is looking forward to the next one.
Appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in, and Tandy, as always, great hosting, and thanks for having me.
All right, take care, Jacob. We're gonna play community, guys. Bye, guys. All right.
We love the community.
All right, didn't mean to say bye, guys. I meant to say bye, Jacob. All right. So, anyways, we have a couple of rare moments to give away. We have the playoff moments. We have a James Harden, and we have a Tyler Hero. So let's see what's going on here. Peace on Earth, said by the one. So yeah, I missed a lot of comments there. I can't pay too much attention to the comments when I'm interviewing somebody. It's just hard. My brain doesn't work that well, and I'm not on a whole lot of sleep. But let's give away some moments. So we have the Tyler Hero and the James Harden. Let's figure out who's gonna get given away first. Do we want to do that? Do people like seeing which duck is first? So if you want to do the duck race, by the way, then start spamming the chat. First, we're going to see who gets given away first. So it's Hero or Harden. So let's set that up. Let's look at the duckies. I did not mute you, actually, Mets. I had a mod today. The mod muted you, not me. So sorry you got muted. I don't know what you said, but you got muted. Let's see. Any other questions here that I can help with? When will we see locker room packs? Oh, that's for Jacob, and he's gone. Sorry, Blazer fan. That was a good question. That was a good question. I guess we're going to have to ask that the next time Jacob's back, which is when are we going to get some more utility for these trade tickets? That is definitely a good question. So everyone's spamming the chat. Spam, 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 spam. All right, everybody spam the chat. And let's go take a look at the thing. Make sure you're all in here. Okay. Most of you are in here, I think. I mean, well, less than half of you are spamming the chat. And then my big inflated number on Twitter, I don't know how many of you are actually watching. It says 279 people on Twitter. That can't be right. But we also have one guy on Twitch, and you know what that means. Let's give him his drop. Twitch guy! Yeah, we love that. We love that drop, don't we, folks? Okay, so let's see which ducky are we giving away? Are we giving away Harden or Hero? Here we go. Bam. Bam, bam, bam. Harden is in front. James Harden throwing dollar bills behind him, but Tyler Hero, God save the Queen. I think Tyler Hero's going to win it. What do you guys think? Harden's still in front, though. 10 seconds to go, but he's slow. Whoa! I thought Harden was going to get rugged, but no. Harden, looks like Harden's going to take it. James Harden's going to be our first giveaway tonight. All right. James Harden is the first giveaway. So let's go ahead. And he keeps quacking in the background. How do I make him stop? All right, so let's give away James Harden. This is going to be the one where if you entered on Twitter, you have a chance. But the people who are here live are going to have double chance. So, oh, Marjuti is here. Marjuti wins every week. Marjuti, I want to know, is that you, Marjuti? Are you a lovely lady enjoying the sunset somewhere, or is that like a stock photo that came in one of those Walmart picture frames? Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to it here. Let me collect the names. There's 39 of you who are here. So I'm going to start collecting. 39. Okay. 39. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Let's count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. 39 of you. I'm going to add you to the wonderful wheel. Okay. And I'm going to add you twice because you're here live. And by being here live, you get added twice. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? All right. Someone's going to win the James Harden. Let me just go make sure. Oh my gosh, there's 41 now. See, I shouldn't do that, but I do it. I'm a nice guy. It's going to sound terrible listening back to this or watching this back, but sorry. I'm going to go put the people that got in here late. 42. I got to do it again. All right, listen. We're going to do a final countdown, okay? This time it's final. I'm not going to go check again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, 42 people. If you come in after that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but this is how it's going to go. All right, let's go. I'm going to click that and do this and do this. And we got it. We got the wheel. There it is. There's the wheel. Who's going to get James Harden? Is it going to be someone from Twitter or someone in the chat? Let's take a look. Round and round we go. Where do we stop? Nobody knows. Well, that looks like it's from Twitter. Hugo has won. Hugo has won James Harden. Congratulations, Hugo. I know that Hugo's a real OnlyTan. I'll tell you why, because Hugo, he is one of a handful of people who bought merch. Bod the Wine bought merch as well. He's also a solid OnlyTan, as well as a couple other people. But congratulations, Hugo. Not rigged, I swear. And then we're going to give away the Tyler Hero. So let's give away the Tyler Hero. Let's give it away. And we will do that one on a duck race. And I see that a couple extra people are now in the chat, are spamming the chat. So if you want to win a Tyler Hero, quack in the chat or spam the chat. You're all in there, but let's just make sure that everyone is in there. We can give a nice smelly duck race. And I just want to make sure that no one gets left behind. Doesn't look like, oh, there's somebody new. Okay, let's do it again. 46 people. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the chat, though. I always think it's a fun chat with Jacob. You know, obviously, he can't tell us everything that we'd like to know, but I think it was good. I think he gave some good answers to things that were happening. He addressed some of the controversy. I mean, we don't want to see things like the rare moment thing in the playoffs, but it's good that we can at least get some answers, right? And I think that's hopefully that you guys got some value out of that. That's what I hope. I couldn't give all your questions to him because it's just hard for me to look at the chat while I'm interviewing somebody. But anyway, let's get to it. This is for the Tyler Hero. Boston Bay says, what was your biggest takeaway? Honestly, Boston Base, like when I interview someone, I'm kind of in like a blur, to be honest. I listen to my shows the next day, and then I'll tell you my takeaway. So message me tomorrow, and then I'll tell you what my takeaway is. All right. Okay. So we got 46 ducks, 46 duckaroos. Let's do it. Let's zoom in, and let's see who's going to win Tyler Hero. He may or may not be extremely overrated. Stan Loves, that's for you. We're shuffling, we're doing it live, and let's see who wins. Thank you, Josh. He says, I messed up on my super chat, but I wanted to say thanks to Tandy and Jacob. Thank you, Josh. Thank you for being here. All right, let's see. We got Green Curry, and Ryan is in front, and Anta's in front, and Silverback and Fan City. Ryan Yoda at the top. He's in front. Who's in front right now? It looks like there's like a 4 or 5-way tie right now. Jordan Santaga, though, who won last week, is now in front by a beak, but there's still 27 seconds to go. That's a lifetime. Nick Giles is now in front in his Billy Cop. Is that what they're called? Those British police officers? He's in front, a full duck's length, but there's still 15 seconds to go. Stan Loves is a naked duck at top. If he wins, that would be very fitting. Right now, Nick is in front, but only by a little. Stan looks like, okay, everyone's getting rugged. Metz is in front, though, and here comes Boston Base, but look, it's Marjuti. You got to be kidding me. Oh, my God. Marjuti has won again. This is crazy. This is like the third week in 4 weeks that Marjuti has won. Unbelievable. Marjuti is the most lucky duck we've seen ever. So Marjuti has won. Boston Base was in third. Metz was in, looks like Metz was in fifth. We got airplane mode, Tyler, J-Rod. Who came in last? That's what I want to know. NF Tweaker, you are the slowest duck. Blazer Fan is too busy lighting one up, and he's really slow. He's back there. Ricky Ricardo as well. But congratulations, Marjuti. You have won again. I can't believe this. Marjuti is going to be able to like fund, I don't know what, an entirely new lifestyle just watching this show. Congratulations, Marjuti. What was the username? I wrote it somewhere. Let me get your username again, Marjuti, just in case I have misplaced it. Oh, yeah, I can't find it. So give me that username again, Marjuti, even though I've sent you something like every week. So congratulations to Marjuti. And I've never seen anyone win this often in a duck race. This is just crazy. Everyone's saying, wow, it's rigged. Super rigged, rigged. That's funny that Boston Base got a warning for spamming. Oh, geez. Let's see. Marjuti, where are you? Where are you, Marjuti? Where are you dancing in the moonlight in front of the waves? Yeah, look at that. I will fund my fast break. M. Root has won again. That's the third win. Marjuti has won 3 times in 4 weeks. Ban Boston Base, says Badawine. King Brett wants you to be banned. Yeah, so that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the chat. It's almost like a version of office hours, which I always like to think about because that was a special time for me. Nostalgia. Anyway, anything else? You guys want to talk about anything else for the next like 2 minutes? The chat is open. You're all here together. If you guys want to chat about something else for the next 2 minutes, I will allow it. And let's just see if there's anything else that I'm missing here. King Brett says, we all know that you can choose the winner. Tyler just wanted to beat Boston Bay. So there you go, Tyler. You should feel happy about that. And yeah, everyone's saying it's rigged. It's rigged and it's rugged. Will Pacers tie it up? That's the good question. Yoda, if the past has told us anything, whenever I stream, but not with Weisberg though. Whenever I stream though, the Celtics drop a game too. So according to the past 2 series, yes, they will tie it up. Top Shot Blazer says, how's the kid? Top Shot Blazer, my son is sick. And my daughter still doesn't sleep very well, but she's great. They're both great. But my son's sick at the moment. So thank you for asking. Trumpy says airplane mode. How does that Putin money taste? I wish I had Putin money by the wine. Where do I get some of that Putin money? Trumpy. Should we get Trumpy out? I don't even know if this is going to work. I haven't opened Trumpy in a long time. Should we do a little Trumpy while my wife is waiting to use the room? Let's see. I don't know if I can get it to work. Let's see if I can get Trumpy to work. This is like a not supported anymore snap camera. It's called, and nothing. I can't see anything. It's totally busted. I don't know if this is gonna work. Let me see if I can get it to work. Hold on. Can I get Trumpy back? I'm not sure if I can. Hold on. Oh, I think I can. All right. What do you guys want to talk about with Trumpy? Should we talk about the Celtics Pacers series? Let's see if I can get Trumpy in here. Trumpy, the people want to talk to you. Can you please come and talk, Trumpy? Could you please come and talk to the people, Trumpy?
Oh, well, yes, I can. How's everybody? Oh, I actually don't really care how you're doing. I shouldn't say how's everybody doing, because I don't really care. My eyes, though, they look like I have jaundice. My eyes and teeth are the same shade of yellow. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice, folks? Isn't that nice? Trumpy on over-minting. Folks, you know, that's why you gotta buy the golden ones. I only buy the one of ones. Everybody knows this. I only buy one of ones. I don't buy any of those 60Ks. I only buy one of ones. If you don't like over minting, then why don't you buy the one of ones and stop being poor? If you're poor, then that's your problem, folks. You're poor. You shouldn't be poor. You should have thought about being poor a little bit more. That's what you should have done. Don't be poor, Boston Base. Okay? Don't be poor. What's my first action in office? I probably use the toilet, to be honest. That's usually what I do when I enter my office. Whatever office, the office of the president. Whatever office we're talking about, I probably will go to the toilet. I may or may not bring one of my favorite McDonald's cheeseburgers in with me and put a little bit of Fox News. Fox News. I like watching Fox News. I like watching interviews of myself on replay and have a little hamburger and sit on the toilet. That's what I like to do. Stan Love says, I'll pardon Roham. Roham sounds like a terrific guy. We have similar taste in vehicles, and we're both very fancy. He also likes one of ones. He doesn't like 60Ks. He likes one of ones. Stan Loves. Talk about Stan Loves. I think Stan Loves. He's weak. He cheers for a losing team. He cheers for the Miami Heat. A bunch of losers. I'm not going to say that makes him a loser, but Stan Loves likes losers, and he likes Dwayne Wade, mint all-you-can-eat moments. Many people are saying that's his favorite moment on NBA Top Shot. He likes the Dwayne Wade vintage vibes. Many people are saying he has 3 pinned vintage vibes moments of Dwayne Wade. I can't confirm or deny. I believe it's true, though. Believe me, it is true. I'll tell you what, it's true. Stan loves Dwayne Wade. He loves vintage vibes. That's right. Many people are saying it. Okay. Well, ciao.
All right. Well, everybody, the wife is asking for me to stop streaming, so I guess I have to stop streaming now. But thank you all for watching. We got a little Jacob. We got a little Trumpy. We got a little Ducky. And thank you, Blazer fan, for being here. I appreciate it. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. Enjoy the game today. We're hoping that the Celtics will beat the Pacers. Many people are thinking that they will, as long as they don't choke. That's what we hope. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Go enjoy Twitter and such, and we will talk next week. Take care.
Static Selector.